Hey, we've got a little bit of apothecary action going on here, facing the Warp Spider Exarch. A matchup that I've not actually seen in quite some time, so this is going to be interesting to witness. Deimos is going to be our Warp Spider Exarch here today, and we've got Cry on the apothecary. Now we have had some nerfs recently to the scouts, which actually kind of became meta recently. They certainly against Warlock and Farseer, because they're melee-based heroes, you would see a lot of triple scout builds, and scouts with their Sarge and their shotguns could actually quite easily handle Guardians. But the interesting thing is the Scout Sergeants now have less HP, and the Guardians have more HP by default, so they don't need their battle equipment quite so badly. Now the Warp Spider Exarch was interesting, because he has a lot of range damage, not so much by default, but certainly once he starts getting a few of his war gears, in particular the improved targeters, and his heavy gauge filament. So you get them two, and he's doing crazy amounts of damage, and then he can counter the scouts, because he does a lot of damage to scouts because they're light infantry. You can see here he's not doing that much to the tactical marines because they're heavy infantry. So the irony is, if you're fighting a Farseer or a Warlock, you often don't want any attacks, but then you get countered by the Spider. But if you're fighting the Spider, attacks can be really useful because, I mean, you've seen how long he was shooting these bad boys. Of course, the Apothecary being here, giving the HP regen passively, and having the heal active as well, is very good to counter them. And this is good kiting play here, keeping the Apothecary near to the tax. Managed to chip down the Banshees. They don't really want to engage the tax when there is an Apothecary there to contribute with his melee DPS, as well as for our heal on those tax. And again, this is good play as well. You can't really deal with the Spider very easily when he's behind the green cover, but if he's in melee, he doesn't do a huge amount of damage. He does a little bit, but it's nice to have him in melee, wasting his time, whilst attacks can do their job. And so far, Cry actually opting to not get a second unit of scouts or tax, which is actually very weird. He's gone for the double gens, which have been... Wait, they haven't been mirrored, because Deimos has decided to go for 2 power nodes and 1 gen, rather than the node and then 2 gens instantly. That's interesting. I wonder why he did that. I don't think that's very... I don't really see the point of that as an Eldar, because really you're going to be putting the pressure on as the Eldar early on. I don't think the Space Marines are going to be capping your power, but anyway. That's what he went with. Banshees finally catch up to the Tactical Marines there, going to force them off. And the Warp Spider and the Banshees can now get capping. You've got a rotation here from a Shuriken onto the primary gen farm, and we've got fast ASM coming out for Cry. Now we don't have any upgrades for the Scouts, no upgrades for the Apothecary. I wonder what Cry's doing with this tier 1. It's a bit of a strange one. Okay, fast bolter. Cool, sure. You would assume that he's going to get the Purification Rites as well to help the ASM fight the Banshees. Being able to do that spike damage, but more importantly, being able to output the knockback when you heal the ASM, that's pretty huge in this matchup. So Apo getting the bolter here is going to be able to outshoot. Oh, second Shuriken's already out. That Apo needs to get out of there. And Tactical Marines, quite low on HP, but they're going to stay in play. Going to need to turn around and deal with the Banshees here, the ASM and the tax. Of course, the ASM have their second jump available. They're going to use it. They are indeed, and that is going to be the Banshees and the Shuriken forced off. 2 Banshees for them right there, and one of the crew on the Shuriken likewise. Apothecary stayed in play actually, but very close to dying. These guys, oh, the ASM have lost a model, and they also don't have their energy, so not really too much they can do here. This is a very good positioning here from the Shuriken, able to cover both sides of this shot blocker and put a lot of pressure on. If we look over here, Scouts have been doing their thing. They've picked up a Sergeant. Now we've got the second gen up for Deimos, and actually Cry managed to defend his gens, so pretty good there. Not too much bleed for him either. This is a little bit risky. Scouts coming in with a grenade on the Shuriken. Shuriken able to tear down just in time there. Very nice. Tax and Guardians having a bit of a firefight. Not an ideal situation really for the Guardians, but oh, that was a fuck up and a half with the grenade. I don't know why he threw it over there. But ASM aren't actually fully reinforced. Warp Spider's back into melee. Map control so far looking good for Cry, but it's going to change now that most of his units have been forced off. Lack of HP regen on the Apo is really hurting him here. He's just not able to get his HP back up. Probably going to have to retreat out from here. Yeah, throws out a heal on himself. That's fine, I guess. But lacking an additional unit here for Cry. I mean, he's 1 unit behind. It's not great. It's hard on the map control. You know, if he had an extra scout, they'd be pushing down this side now where there's no Eldar. but it means that Deimos can blob up his units and really put the pressure on. So there goes the shotgun blast, but the Banshees did get into melee with the scouts. But Banshees being in melee over here is not great for Cry, because it means the ASM are running around the back lines, but he's just soft retreating this shuriken, keeps it in play. Now it can rotate and cover up this side. The ASM have used their double jump, so they're out. And here comes the heavy gauge Death Spinner, so now doing 44 DPS piercing, which is going to be pretty painful. I've seen it give one of the ASM there. Quite expensive. Oh, that's nice. We've got a full auto from the Mastercrafted bolter there. Going to be disrupting that shuriken, preventing it from being able to fire whilst it's stunned. But Ippo will not win a fight when he's got a bolter in melee with a spider. But just tying him up so he doesn't bleed any more ASM models.
Understood.
Yep, forces him off. Guardians have located to the side, they're going to go down there. Scouts are going down the middle, let's have a look. Oh, what the fuck? He lost his tax. Dude, how did I miss that? Oh my god. I don't know how I missed that. Where did he lose his tax? Was this like right on his screen when the Banshees were messing around over here? Or did they get grenaded by something? I'm not even sure. But not ideal. Oh well. What can you do? Lost his tax. Wow, Cry is really behind on units then. He's literally got half the units of Deimos right now. Not ideal at all. Not good. Not good.
Research underway.
Banshees, fortunately for Cry, are pretty weak here. But this is not great. The other shuriken isn't able to suppress the ASM, so that's nice, I suppose. Wow, they're not getting any model bleed though. Seems very unfortunate. Wow, he's trying to go for the wipe on the Banshees though. He was keeping the ASM in play in an unfavourable situation because he knew he had the ambush from the scouts at close range doing a lot of damage with their shotguns, and he does actually manage to wipe the Banshees. That's pretty nice because he's still got his ASM, and now there's not really a very good thing to counter-initiate the ASM. Damn, dude. Does force off the spider. No improved target is on the spider yet, perhaps something to get in tier 2, but it's important for Deimos that he doesn't waste that power yet, because he is actually going to tier 2 a little bit later than Cry. So Guardian's putting in some work down here. I don't really know what the plan is here. Getting very close to the base. Oh god, that grenade! Yeah. Not the best engagement there from the scouts. It's going to be a Razorback, makes sense. Bleed the Eldar. Not the best map for the Razorback though. It is quite laney, and there's really a lot of these unbreakable pieces of green cover, which is not ideal. Can mess up your pathing quite badly. To see. That's a bad spot for the Guardians, knocked over right when the ASM are getting into melee. Wow, that might be the kill on them. Yeah, bolt pistols and shotguns, that's going to be it. Wipe. Oh, wow. Nasty. Nasty. A little bit slow on the retreat there from Deimos. Needed to hit retreat a little sooner so the shotguns didn't knock the Guardians over. But he's got a Falcon and he used his global to call down spiders, so he's got a really nice power spike there. There's some Sergeant en route. No energy yet for the jump. Just got to run into the spiders here, not waste your jump, because of course they're going to teleport. Now you can jump. But there's a shuriken protecting them. Okay, just get out. Yep. Razorback just going to be doing the Gen Bash. Apo has gone for the improved medical equipment. Okay. It's a bit of an odd one. But sure. Maybe get the Armour of Purity afterwards to get the sort of reduced cooldown heal. Because right now he doesn't really need the massive increase in energy regen and max energy that badly. He's just got full auto and the heal. Whoa, wow. Pincer attacked it. Crack shot on the Bright Lance. Falcon from the rear. That's a dead Razorback. Wow, Cry is so far behind here. Jeez. I mean, they've got even on the VPs, but my god. His units are quite inferior here. The ASM are going to have to carry, but It's just more and more forces. Now another Guardian Squad comes out, relatively cheap, but of course he needs that Guardian Squad anyway in order to repair the Falcon. So it looks like he's got barely any energy, but because of this improved medical equipment, he actually has enough to heal again. So that's nice, I suppose. No Warp Spider Exarch on the Warp Spider Squad, which is a bit strange. He feels kind of mandatory because he improves the energy regen on them. By quite a lot, actually, and he's not that expensive. Well, they might have been able to take out the Apothecary there if everything focus fired him, but for some reason they didn't. Oh, might even get him anyway. Yeah, they do. Oh, wow. Plenty of red for Cry, though, so you can revive him for free using Larimer's Blessing, which he does. He needs the units right now. Ooh, combat stims. Oh, I like this. I like this player. This is good. Yeah, it supports having double ASM, that's for sure. So combat stimulants give you a damage boost, a damage resistance buff. Oh god, perfect grenade there. The grenade ambush out of infiltration on the shuriken. They were all blobbed up trying to cap the point and they get absolutely fucking wrecked. Improved target is finally coming up on the Warp Spiders. Might be an idea to get another squad. Honestly, not having any Banshees to counter initiate these bad boys is going to be tricky. Is this double melter bombs? So it is. It's going to do some spike damage, but it's not going to be able to kill the Falcon. Wow, that really is a lot of damage. Wow, it's showing rear armor and they're just going to chop it to pieces with power swords. Unbelievable. One of them must have been stimmed before they went in and that's why the melter bomb did more damage than normal. Now you've got a heal potentially. These guys are free models with no Sarge. You healed the other one, I think. God, retreat them, jeez. Don't bleed. Yikes. Warp Spider's doing a lot of damage. Just bear in mind that these are piercing, so if the ASM weren't heavy infantry, they'd be doing way more damage. Which is a terrifying testament to how much DPS these guys actually do. Trying to get the knockback there on the Spiders in order to get the wipe on the Exarch, but he does retreat in time this time. Guardians taking the natural of Cry, and Scouts going back to their little gem bashing duties. Just a little soft retreat there, pulling out of the Arc of Fire, very annoying for Deimos to deal with his shuriken. Gonna do it again, chucks a grenade, get the gem kill, and then leave. Sure, why not? Man, double ASM, not seen this one in quite some time. Pretty good strategy in 2v2, I think. But you don't see it in 1v1 very often. I wonder what the next choice here is for Deimos. Perhaps a Walker. I mean, we don't have any dedicated AV yet. Note the yellow buffs here, so we've got stimulants down again on the ASM. So you can see they're doing a lot more damage. And they're also immune to the suppression, which is pretty nice. Probably just going to delay to get another jump on the shuriken. Yep. Lasts quite a long time. Does it say how long it lasts for here? No, it doesn't. Meh. It is. It's a long time, though. Nice little ability there. Good for getting wipes with your ASM if you do manage to knock things over. Oh god, was that 2 more ASM killed? Yeah, this ASM bleed is pretty brutal. As you can see, they're very expensive to reinforce. 75 rec and 7 power is not cheap. But did he lose another unit here, Deimos? Was it just the Falcon and the Shuriken? Yeah, he didn't have anything else, did he? It's crazy, neither of these players can keep their things alive. But you can see if the Spiders are able to actually shoot those Scouts and they're not in cover, it's pretty brutal. They melt them. Not sure how that... How has that died? No. Died, I meant got destroyed. I thought the tank trap got destroyed, which was random. Another squad of Warp Spiders. They might not be a hard counter to ASM, but the thing is they teleport, right? So they're good against all melee. Well, A lot of energy in the back there for Deimos, to be honest. He really doesn't care about gens at this point. It's all about the requisition. He too is bleeding quite a lot with his spiders. They got a call in of Stern Guard. That's a pretty interesting choice. I mean, man, they're getting shot to pieces here. Oh, crack shot is active on the spiders, so that's a nice damage boost for them. They can't get in cover either. Yeah, they need to just retreat. Jesus. If they're in cover, they will trade pretty well because of the heavy infantry armor. They've got really good damage against light infantry, such as the spider, via their Hellfire rounds. But if they're out of cover, it could be a bit tricky. But you can kind of force the spiders out of cover by using your ASM. And then the damage over time of the Hellfire rounds will also be good for wiping things on retreat. I'm not sure why the spiders jumped in so aggressively there. That was quite strange. Of course, then their teleport is on cooldown, so they're vulnerable to getting jumped themselves by the ASM. Just gonna have to retreat, I think. You don't want to risk bleeding models. Lack of energy for jumps is proving a little bit problematic right now. Stern Guard over to the right, and I don't know, we've got some sort of consolidation in the middle here, but there's not really anything to push. I think Cry was just trying to ascertain where exactly Deimos was, and he knows now. Again, using stimulants while the ASM are in midair, get a bit more damage going in on these Guardians. Lead them. And get the Warlock, that'd be a nice pick, but not quite. Shuriken not really achieving a whole lot here, as you'd kind of expect. I mean, you're fighting fully upgraded infiltrating scouts and double ASM. It's going to be hard to make the Shuriken useful, to be honest. You can just kind of escort your spiders with it. If the ASM want to jump after the spiders, then they can't jump the Shuriken. So you have your spiders in front to bait the jump, and then you have the Shuriken behind to suppress them after they've used it. But yeah, they could do the second jump on the Shuriken, but then that's cool, they haven't jumped on your spiders. Wraithlord, next choice for Deimos. Makes sense, he's got a huge stockpile of power even with this purchase. So the power isn't really a concern for him. And of course the Wraithlord is a big, powerful melee walker. So that can dice up those ASM that keep getting very cocky. It's got a lot more HP than the Falcon, it doesn't have rear armor. But of course it's slow and it's a walker, so it can't fire whilst retreating back to base. But he's only facing Melter Bombs really, and then Vengeance rounds from Stern Guard, so no crazy AV, it's a decent choice. So there's a lot of jumping going on right now, and it's draining all the ASM energy, so they don't really have enough for their Melter Bombs. Got one off. Trying to stay in play, but now double Warp Spiders, one of which has fucking crack shot, is proving quite scary. Oh god. Oh, decent nade there. Yep. That got another ASM. All the ASM dead there except the Sergeant. Wow, you might want to be using a drop pod there, Cry. Reinforce these guys for cheaper, because wow, that is extremely expensive. This is a very brave scout squad approaching double spiders. Oh my gosh. What are they doing? They get a model. Jesus. He was waiting for the shotgun blast, but I'm not sure that was worth it. Certainly if he loses them, it's not going to be. Okay. Saved by the jump, and he did use the drop pod to reinforce all those things at a discount. Angels of Death. So this is quite an all-in play right now in order to try and kill the Wraithlord. Stimulants on the Stern Guard to boost their damage with the Vengeance rounds. So these guys now with the Angels of Death have knockback immunity, not ability knockback though, just weapon knockback clearly, and 50% damage resistance. Wow, and he's misplayed as Deimos. He accidentally didn't retreat one of his spiders. He loses it. Now the Wraithlord's in a bit of a tricky position. He has tied up the only ranged AV tool, but the thing is eventually these ASM melter bombs will come off cooldown and they will be back ready to deal with this situation. Scout's trying to path block right now. Path blocking quite effectively, as you can see, delaying the Wraithlord from getting into melee, but one more melter bomb should be the end of the Wraithlord, to be fair. Can't really get out at this point, because if he turns around to leave, it's going to get wrecked by the Vengeance round, Sternguard chasing them. Yep, and that is a dead Wraithlord. Wow. What's by the Exarch nearly going down as well, but again, more bleed on the ASM too, so swings and roundabouts. Deimos is going to be going tier 3. Perhaps he wants some Seer Council, I'd imagine. Needs some proper melee troops to deal with this bullshit from the ASM. I mean, he's dealing with it pretty well, but Seer Council will be very useful. Level 4, level 3 ASM. Level 4 APO, level 3, nearly level 4 scouts, level 6 spider. Yeah, and then level 3 for all the rest of the Eldar infantry as well. That's pretty crazy. Sternguard forcing off the spiders there. Not really anywhere great for them to take cover. They could probably take cover down here and do decent in a firefight. Or you could just use crack shot, but doesn't want to. He's going to consolidate. He's got the red for an Eldritch, does Deimos, so when he gets tier 3 that is an option. Let's see how this engagement goes. Shuriken too busy capping though, so it's not protecting the Warp Spiders from a jump. Yeah, he's just going to disengage, doesn't want it. Doesn't want it. I don't blame him. Stun from the full auto, so no teleport for that spider. He's got to retreat out of there. I'm not sure what happened to the Guardians there. Must have got ambushed by the scouts, I imagine, because they were retreating. Everyone shooting that far left ASM model there, keeping him weak. But yeah, they jump in. That's another retreat to the base. Not sure that was the best time to be using crack shot, but sure. Give it a go. He's going to try again. Take 2. Where's the APO? Heal. And a big heal as well, because he's level 4. That heal will actually get even stronger at level 5. It gets incrementally stronger at level 3, 5, 7 and 9. Can't tell you how much it gets stronger, but I think you can see it on the codex if you're so interested. But yeah, the Seer Council is going to be the choice here, but this is cool because Cry can then just get a Predator and counter it quite easily, so compositionally I'm quite liking this from Cry. This has been a very even game so far. I mean, check out the VPs. It feels like this game's been going on forever. We're going to have 2 of our players in tier 3 soon. We've already got Seer Council on the way and we're over 300 VPs for both players. So even though a lot of units have been dying on each side, it's actually been quite an even game. Not sure what the ASM are planning here. Deimos' power stockpile, to be fair, has actually dissipated right now. He's relying on just these 2 generators, which he's repurchased at some point. Obviously, tier 3 plus Seer Council is a damn lot of power, so it has chonked through his reserve. Stimulants from retreat here to make the Hellfire do even more damage. I wonder if those damage buffs buff the damage over time effect. I kind of feel like it wouldn't, but I'm not sure.
Additional units have become available, Commander. Are we to accept defeat?
So Spider caught out once again by a full auto there, got to get out of there, but we've got the Seers now, so let's see. Seers are cool because they've got power melee damage, they've got a lot of HP per model. I mean, 500 HP per model is kind of nuts. They also have a damage resistance aura against ranged damage, which does affect themselves, so that's what this blue circle is. But you can see they're still light infantry, so they are taking pretty good damage at close range from shotguns, Hellfire, APO, etc. Nicely dodged there on the plasma grenade and just heals the ASM, rotates around, why not? Stern Guard will be a lot better if they can get some level ups, but they seem to be struggling. And Autarch now, wow. That is heavy commitment to anti-infantry. I don't think Deimos realizes that Cry is actually tier 3 right now. Trying to keep the Stern Guard in play because he knows he's got an Apo heal coming, but the Apo can't do the heal because he's getting stunned by the heavy gauge Death Spinner. Crack shot again on the spiders who kite away. That means you need to retreat, Mr. ASM, with the Seers and the Autarch in the back lines. Now, the Autarch also has a passive aura that reduces the range damage taken by nearby allies. It's called the Scorpion Shield. So you can stack that with the Seer Council's one. And then when she jumps anywhere, when she lands, she will buff the speed and damage of nearby units, as well as giving them a little heal. That is very useful with the Seer Council and helps them get a lot of wipes. Terminators? What? I could have sworn he would have got a Predator. Eh? You're fighting Seer Council, man. Wow. Look, Terminators... Oh, wow. Gonna kill the Autarch straight away. Damn. Oh, that's bad for Deimos. I don't know why he was committing so hard down here, but... The nice thing with Terminators when you play the Apo is Terminators have really good regen anyway, and the passive HP regen that you get as the Apo, it's not a fixed amount that you give to your allies, rather you multiply their HP by a certain amount. So, if your ally has higher HP regen anyway, then the effect of the Apo aura is disproportionately good. And so on Terminators it's pretty nuts. They start regenerating HP faster than Plague Marines. It's pretty scary, especially given that Plague Marines, remember, are only light infantry. These guys are super heavy infantry, so 1 HP on a Terminator is worth a lot more than 1 HP on a Plague Marine. Yet they still regen more HP when the Apo's nearby than Plague Marines. And I guess Flamer does make short work of those gens. Deimos currently got no gens. He does have a little bit of a stockpile, so could get something like 1 Fire Prism, but that's about it really. Then he's going to be out of resources. The Flamer will be pretty good against the Seers, just because there's 5 of them, and they do kind of blob up quite a lot when they're in melee in particular. They're only light infantry of the Seers. But if the thing is, if the Terminators are isolated and the Seers can get on them, they'll tear them to pieces. But I guess it's difficult because you've now got Vanguard veterans, and you've got another ASM squad, and you've got Shotgun Scouts, so there's a lot of sources of disruption. Yeah, like right here, the Terminators are probably just going to tank. They're using their flame ability on the floor. Wow, that's actually doing quite a lot of damage. Holy shit. Yeah, and then the Apo comes in and just heals them. Wow. ASM and retreat path. Can't get a kill. Seer's too tough. Damn. And then look at the HP regen here thanks to the Apo aura. That is scary. Vanguard, basically flying Corn Marines. Very powerful unit. The damage of Mark of Corn CSM, but more HP than them. The ability to jump. And Merciless Strike as well. Pretty terrifying melee unit. But they do lose their Melter Bomb, so that's a little bit sad for them. But I guess, to be honest, there's not really anything... Like, Eldar's tier 3 vehicles aren't really that big of a threat. You don't care about Fire Prism. Not with this composition, there's no way. And also, if you're the Apo and you've got a big engagement against the Fire Prism, you just hit Angels of Death and get the knockback immunity, and then your infantry can kind of just run through and do what they want. But wow, look at that. Big damage there from the Warp Spider squad leader, thanks to him having his dual power blaze from the aspect of the Warp Spider. Told the Stern Guard up there on retreat. A bit of a micro error really from Cry. These players are just trading units constantly all game. But I will say Cry got a nice dominant lead now in terms of the VPs. Still over 300 for him. And Deimos is bleeding quite fast. 162 left for Deimos. Let's see what the Prism can do. If he uses it conservatively, it might be decent. We'll see. Shuriken definitely a weak point here in the composition, but Seer's going to do what Seers do best. Disrupts nicely with that leap. A bit of a premature retreat, perhaps. Oh, that was a premature grenade was what that was. Wow. Still nearly taking out the Guardian Weapons team. Teleporting after it? I don't think it matters that much, the Guardian Weapon team. Like, it really hasn't done anything for a long time. I wouldn't have wasted my teleport there. We've got the Power Fist now. Interesting. You don't see this war gear very often. It basically makes them worse against infantry, which is usually why you get them. But it'll be able to put pressure on a Prism. Certainly if you can snare it with a Melter Bomb first from the other ASM, but he doesn't have the energy right now for a jump into a Melter. If he did, the Prism would be in big trouble. I'm going to be honest, I thought I muted Discord. It's very annoying. Oh, so we got another Rangers of Death, which is why the little leap there from the Seers didn't knock over the Vanguards. I was a bit confused about that. It makes sense, and the Shokin nearly going down again, but it is going to survive. There's the Melter. Does get it off on the Prism, but needs to throw out a heal onto the... well, onto either of these now, to be honest. There you go, onto the ASM. Loses a big chunk of that health that he healed, though, with the Prism hitting all 4 of those models. And actually, Deimos has managed to sneak in with the Guardians and take the natural, too. Now rotating back with the Guardians to actually heal up that Prism. The problem is that it just keeps seeing like Deimos is losing unit after unit in engagements, and Cry really isn't. So you can see Cry's resources now. It's quite obvious what you go for if you're Cry. You go for a Land Raider Redeemer. It'd be very, very hard to deal with. He just does the flame on the floor, and there's so much focus fire here coming into the Seers. Apo, of course, is nearby, so the Terminators are healing like crazy. And now we've got the Land Raider Redeemer. Lots of Power Fist. Oh, wow. Vanguard nearly taken it out. Oh, they're going to get it. They got it. Yeah, and that's the surrender. As the Vanguards are about to fist down the Fire Prism. Obviously had the Land Raider Redeemer coming up as well. Yeah, once you get the Terminators with the Apo, whew, that is tricky to deal with. You're going to need Wraithlord, Autark. It's tough because he doesn't have the melee heroes. If he had the melee heroes, it might be a bit easier. Really, you need the Farseer. I don't think even the Warlock really has much of a chance. Farseer, it's kind of a piece of piss. You can time field them. Obviously, they can't retreat, so if you time field them and start hitting them with some decent tools to kill Terminators, then yeah, you got options. Of course, you can levitate them as well. Same thing, they can't retreat out of the levitate, so it can put them in some really bad situations. Then you can heal, say, Council with your Spirit Stones. Farseer by far the best in the late game. Spider, there's just not much you can do. Like, the Spider himself really can't touch these guys at all. And his globals don't really help that much. Fire Dragons with Crackshot would have done huge damage to these guys. Dark Reapers with Crackshot would have done some damage to them. But they're just going to get overwhelmed by the ASM and the Vanguard. That's the problem. And that's why the composition worked out. Certainly with the Land Raider coming out, Deimos was quite screwed. I'm not sure where it went really wrong for him. Guess he just needed a bit more of a dominant tier 1. It's kind of how the matchup goes. Once the ASM can... well, once the SM can get their Terminators and Predator out in tier 3, it's kind of GG for the Eldar. But there you go. Hope you enjoyed that one, folks. Torpid signing out.